And we are going to work on the next stage of this planning. We are in the early stages of planning and execution of a painting. Our first session was more about understanding the reference and how do you plan and such. We haven't really started into the canvas, so we are now getting onto the second session where we will work on this planning into executing this into this canvas and see how things work out. Before we get on to this, what we are going to do is a layer 2 on this canvas. So I understand that you all have already gone through the basics and have managed to do the first layer, the first coat or the wash, and the canvas is ready for work. Yeah. And let's quickly go over what we are going to use today. Materials were also discussed in great detail in the basics. So we have our references. The canvas, of course, is there. Yeah. So I'm going to now bring this to the front. Good. Yeah. So we have a couple of references, isn't it? One is the superstructure, the other is a detail of a girl. Ready? And I have a measuring stick with me, and just to draw the lines, I have a ruler kind of a thing, and I'm going to use two different colors to do the grids on this canvas. Ideally, it's okay if you have, for example, burnt umber or any single color to do it. I'm going to do this in two colors to help you understand the double gridding that we are going to do on this canvas. And I have my palette, which is the reusable or use and throw palette, and I have a little bit of linseed oil left over in my lid that I will use to mix the colors, to just liquefy the color. Yeah. And the colors that I'm going to use are primary blue and vermilion. Yeah. The reason I'm using two different colors is only to show you how exactly do we do the double grading and such. Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. So with all this, I think we are ready to get on to the work. I'm going to take a little bit of primary blue for the first level grading of the superstructure. I have zero brush. You could use any brush. And for those who are asking the question on is it okay to use a pen or a pencil to draw the grid? We don't want to use the paint to draw the grid. That is okay, as long as you have not done it totally thick that it's really difficult for you to blend the color in the next upcoming layers, because sometimes the lead is a thick color, itself. Lead could leave a very strong mark on the canvas, and it could create some kind of challenge when you are trying to blend colors in the later stage. So just be aware of that. So do it lightly if you really want. And let's look at what we agreed to do. So this will be a 10 by 10 centimeter grid that we will have to create for this 40 by 50 centimeter canvas. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that right away. And that's the easiest part. Yeah. Moving my things slightly away so that the focus is on my canvas here. So I have one good question here. This is a 50 centimeter canvas, right? That I have 50 centimeters. So when I check end to end, it should be 50. Well, my 50 is here and I'm slightly away from my, canvas. Yeah. Do you know why? Um, the simple thing is that this is a stretch canvas, and depending upon the mold, the frame that you are using, um, the fold will take about quarter of the clothing here and there. So there is about a quarter missing. So just be aware of that when you are marking your 10 centimeter grids. Yeah, like this. And I'm taking blue to mark 10 and 20 and 30 and 40. Do that one more time somewhere so that it's easier for me to trace. So again doing this 10 and 20 and 30 and 40. So I'm ready to mark the vertical grids. Oh, this is the horizontal grid, I'm sorry. This is the horizontal grid. And the lines, if you're asking how thick they should be or strong they should be, remember these are grid lines just for our support or help. We are going to, erase them, or not necessarily erase them, but we are going to blend in colors in a way that these lines will, stop appearing somewhere in our layers 3 to 4. Yeah, it will start disappearing. Um, so you only need the guidance for the earlier stages or beginning stages of this painting. So keep that in mind. And if you ask me this question, should it be only this color or any other color? It's again your choice, whichever way, whichever color, makes you comfortable identifying the grid and continuing to work on the superstructure and such detail and such. Yeah. So it's up to you, really. Okay, now we are going to do the gridding on the vertical way. Again, the same thing, you will notice that this is a 40 centimeters, but you will see that the measure is going slightly way off. So place it accordingly so that there is a balance of leaving the quarter on this side and this side. So it's almost, it looks like it's 39 and a half and not 40. But actually, it's, and again, it is not the same from brand to brand. The way they have used the molds, the way they have the wood cut out, so many things really come into play in this case. Yeah, so keep that in mind and ready to do the threading here. Okay. this grading that you're doing is definitely going to help you plan things accordingly. So remember, I was talking about this 10 by 10 centimeter grids. You could also, if you want it to be even more, intricate, you could use smaller grids, but I chose this 10 by 10 centimeters because there is the balance between what you want and not going into the detail level. This is the superstructure for which we are doing the grading. So yeah, that's exactly why I just chose this. That is a good balance, even for ones who are not so what do you call it? Not so comfortable drawing. This will be very helpful. So we have this grid done. So in this grid, okay, now we are not going to start the superstructure right away, but we are going to work on the detail grid. Where is the details grid supposed to come? If you look at the way the face is appearing in this, it is in mostly in C, the upper part of C, yeah, slightly in the upper part of B. That's exactly where it is. So the face is essentially here, meaning the head, because the head is also covered by the crown. So the head is really on the top here. So let's look at the other picture. How have we done the gridding? Okay, the head is, there is a little bit of the head showing, and then we have the face. So if we want the head above this line, the head should be above this line, and then we want the a part of the eye also to come in this line. So that's exactly where it is. Can you see? Just comparing here. A part of the eye is also here. So that's exactly what we want. Then I would want A and B, which means 4 centimeters, to come really in this slot, yeah, in this block of B. And that we also have the row 1 about this line. So that's exactly how I'm imagining things, and I'm going to make the grid for the detail now. That's a 10 by 10 centimeter grid, but then it's every single block is 2 by 2 centimeters. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So you're going to see where I place this. So for me, this is the A. Yeah. So I'm marking it A, B, C, D, B, and C, and D. Yeah. And this is my 1 and 2. And 3 and 4 and 5. Yeah. So I have marked them. Now I'll have to move to another color to help you understand. You can continue using the same color if it doesn't confuse you. You are welcome to use the same color. Otherwise, you choose a different color. Anything, will help. Doesn't matter. Yeah? I'm taking vermilion. For this marking so that it's helpful. I said that it has to be 2 centimeters away so that the head is covered here, and we want A and B, which means 4 centimeters here. So I am blocking my 10 starting here. Sorry, I have to use another color. Yes, this has to be the red. Yes. So there goes my 2, and this is the I'm not going to draw this line. It's already here. 6. Yeah, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. That's how I'm going to do my vertical lines. The horizontal lines will start from, because I will have to leave out 2 centimeters here. So the horizontal starts from here. This is one line, 8, 6, 4, and 2, and 0. So that's exactly where the lines are going to go. Yeah, it might be slightly confusing right now, but we are going to do that in a short while and see how things are. I have a tissue, by the way, with me to wipe off any paint, any excess. Yeah. Okay. So I'm now going to use my ruler again to do this gridding. So that's where the double gridding is. There is one gridding for the superstructure and one gridding for the detail of the face. Yes. Right. Nearly there. The double grids. Now let's do the vertical lines. I haven't repeated the line in blue here because it's, by default, it's also one of those lines. Yes. Right. Now we have, and I can do this in reds to help you understand that there is the, slightly different one. So this is exactly where the face is going to be seated in our canvas. Yeah. Yes. So we have done the grid for the superstructure, and inside we have identified where the face of the girl has to come. So we have managed to do the gridding for the detail as well. So I'm going to continue using the same vermilion color to kind of draw face detail, at least to a certain extent, if not, in a detail level. So I am moving this slightly. I'm a left-hander, so I'm just moving it in a direction that is convenient to me. So I have the reference picture with me, and I know where these grids are. Yeah. So where do we start with? The easiest way that I usually teach my students is that when you look at, the hair, yeah, where is the overall structure of the hair lying? Can we start in B? Yeah. So if I have to call this A, B, and C, and D, and E, C, D, and E, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then it is easier for us to work through now. Yeah. So this is our little A, B, C, D, E grid, and we are going to start with B to draw where exactly the hair is coming. It's crossing slightly in the A, coming out, And maybe we will not, do the entire detail of that hat that way, but for now, I think you can see that it goes all the way through 3A3. That's one. And on the other side, it starts somewhere in D. It flows through D. And also it flows a little bit to E. The hair strands falling in column E, almost going down to E4, E5 and such. Yes. So that's how it is looking right now. And if we have to do the hair, where the partition is here, it's in C. That's right here. Yeah. And it goes to section of D and then, keeps flowing through there. Yes. Was that easy to mark? Now can we mark the other side of the hair? Okay, here we go. Marking it, and now can we see where exactly it is? It's in B. The hair is still there in the B. Little bit going towards the end of B and going towards A. Yeah, you can also shade it like this if you want. And then there is this ear in A3. So I am leaving that space for the ear, making that curve of the ear and leaving it there. So the other parts I'm just going to slightly darken and leave it to understand that it's the hair I'm blocking here. So I have blocked that space for the hair overall on the head. Yeah. And don't worry about the colors mixing in case you're using multiple colors like me. Right now, we're only drawing things and we will go about shifting the colors and such in other layers. Yeah. Now let's come to slight bit of detail of where the eyebrows are. Where are the eyebrows? It's really at the end of B. Yeah? And touching upon the grid row, end of row 2 and 3. Yeah, so I'm going to use that space here to draw that. Leave it here. Again, in D, there is this, between D and C, and also in between rows 2 and 3, there is this another eyebrow that I have marked. Let's try to do the eye now. For those who are learning at a stage where you find it very difficult to work with, let's look at the eyeball. It's a circle. Can we do the circles where exactly they are? So let's do the circle of the eye, the eyeball. It's right in here, not crossing the grid line here, but very close to the grid line here. So I have placed it here. But in this case, I can see that it is on this grid line between C and D. So I'm going to give that. Yes. I've given that. Now, if I have to make the primary line of the eye, the upper eyelid, so I've marked that, and here What have I gone wrong here with? I think the eyebrow, I have made it slightly bigger. I could always erase that with the help of a earbud. Earbuds like these are very helpful in removing only a certain section of things that you want to remove. So I can see that the eyebrow has to come down, drop down slightly like this. Then the eye makes sense here. Let's do the under eye spacing as well. Yep. And where exactly is the nose? Before we do the nose, we can also mark the shape of the nose that is coming up here. Yes. And the pores of the nose is right in here, isn't it? Where is that? It's between rows 3 and 4. Really on the grid of rows 3 and 4. I'm just marking them. You can mark it another color if it supports you better. Yes, you could do that. And I'm just going ahead and doing the chin's angle here. That is coming across in this section. There is also the angle of the chin there. Okay. And I'm just looking at where the lip line is. So pretty. Remember, flatten the M when you are drawing the lip line. And she's smiling really bright, so just drawing that line nicely here. So the underlip, I'm just leaving out a slight little spacing here. So we have we have marked the cheek and the lip, and there is this, the chin is right here, isn't it? The chin is right here in row 5, C5 to be exact. That's exactly where the chin is. Bringing that face here. Okay, looks like we have almost, her cheek now. I'm just doing her beautiful cheek. Okay, let's draw up the side of her face now. Remember the curves, the minor curves, but then they make a lot of sense here. Okay. Let's see, how have we done here? The ear, we have managed to provide some space for the ear. There is hair here. There is this also, the cheek, the cheekbone coming down to the chin. Yeah, beautifully, yes. So we have now managed to draw her face. Let's do her neck as well. Where is it? On the chin bone, wherever it ends, you can see that there is this line dropping. She's wearing a jacket and such. Now we will not need that, but we are going to take only the neckline. Yeah, for us to understand. I'm also adjusting things here, so I'm just removing the excess and drawing this. So this is exactly how we have managed to draw her overall face structure when we work on the details, of course, we will try to make sure the eyes are captured exactly, the eye color is captured, and the skin color is captured, and such, which we will do, step by step in each and every lesson. When we move on to those lessons, we will work on that. But for now, we have managed her face with this face. Now we'll go back to the next level challenge of adapting the picture of the girl with this Lakshmi image here. Yes. So what am I going to do now? I have to make sure that it is, I'm going to do the circle of her neck where there is jewelry, or maybe, if it is, what do you call, a traditional shirt and a top, also, we'll have that. So I'm just going to do her neck, and if you see where the neck is coming, it's between, now we are back to the bigger B and C. So between B and C, we are looking at the space where the neckline is, where the jewelry is coming. Yes. And now, if you want me to go back to another color to show you, I can go back to the blue to show you that this is where I'm doing my neckline, and I'm bringing the shoulder line here like this and bringing it down like this. Remember, there are 2 hands on each side. We'll have to work on that as well, where we are making sure that the shoulder line is dropping down ever so lightly here. Now we have the shoulder line. Down. So the next thing is that to remember that there will be 2 shoulder lines because of the 2 hands. It is covered in, okay, yeah, this isn't visible so clearly here. I think this is fair enough that we can do 1 shoulder line and then show both the hands. That's also fine. Or we could do, 2 shoulder lines as well, showing that, there are 2 shoulders and then the hands also is. That's another thing. But I think in this particular picture, we have only 1 shoulder line showing. So we are just going to do that. Yeah. And when it comes to the body line, just remember that, there is a bust line of a woman here. We don't need to do that. So it's going to be a very, very simplified angle that we are going to give. I'm taking that angle in B3 and C3. Yeah. Bringing it down. Ever so lightly. Yes. And before we get into the complication of the hands, let's do the hip. So I'm just imagining that she's having a jewelry here. So I'm just going to mark a little bit of, stuff here to just give an idea of some jewelry there. Yeah. And maybe another. We don't have to work on the details yet. I'm just giving a couple of ideas here. Yeah. And leaving it there. Then I'm going to go on to the hip line where I will have a kind of a belt drawn. Let's see where the hip line is. It is okay. In this case, you see that the hip line is really, close to this what do you call, end of row 3, isn't it? So we could bring it slightly below, not too much, slightly below. But we need to remember that it's a kit, so we don't need to do this level of sizing. So we need to have it slightly below, and then this is where we could stop. This makes sense for us to stop, and we could have the belt here. Yeah, we will think of something about what kind of belt and what kind of ornament and such later. But we have, kind of, if you see the way the belt is, the way we have it, I think it's almost touching the rim of this row 3. And that's exactly where we are also in a way. And then let's see that the thighs are coming out, but it is contained in row B. It's coming out, and it's contained in row B. You cannot see the end of it because there are flowers there, the petals, the flower there. So in here, the thighs and come out slightly and cross almost the border of row C and touch upon row D. But that's it. Is it looking good, or I think it needs to be shortened a bit, keeping in view that it's a child. Let's not make it too big. So I'm adjusting it here. I'm bringing this forward so you could see a little better. So yeah, this is where I am adjusting it, and I'm just stopping with this row. To get the overall idea of where the leg is. Yes, so this is exactly where the leg is going to be, but we cannot see the leg because it's going to be covered by the petals of the rose, petals of the flower. So I'm going to do the petals of the flower and then come back to the hand. Yeah, so I'm just looking at where exactly the base of the flower should be. The base of the flower should be somewhere over here. That is in row 5, but almost in the top portion of row 5. So I'm just drawing the base of the flower. I just blended a little bit of the vermilion here. I'm just drawing the base, and this helps me plan the flower. It's a lotus flower. I'm just, and now I don't need to necessarily copy petal by petal here. So I can go on my own, planning things. So that's about the base of the flower. How big do you want it and how many petals and such? I think we'll go over the details when we come to that, isn't it? So right now we are just going to draw those superstructures and make sure that we have a balance of, all the elements that we need, necessary elements that we need covered here. Yeah, there's also petals of flower coming, and the back, or the way it is done, it's kind of, showing that the petals are also appearing from the back a little bit. So we have to keep that in mind, that it's that big. Yes, so that's the overall structure, and here we have the petals that are drooping downwards. Couple of them. Not worried about the details, I'm just drawing them so that we are done with the basics here. And then there is this beautiful plate full of gold, so we need to have this covered in this zone. It's an oval shape that we are going to give. Just filling it in. Okay, that's a space. So I think we have the necessary elements here. Maybe I will push it up slightly when I rework on this. But I think we have the major elements here. We can come back to the 4 hands. There's a lot of complexity here. I'm going to go back to the blue. Yes. So let's do the rim of the blouse first. Okay, so we are now going to focus on the hands. There are 4 hands to work with. Let's go one by one. So there are 2 hands that are behind. They are, almost holding the flowers. And there are 2 hands that are in the front, coming in the front. One is like blessing us. The other is just, in a downward position like this, looking like it's going to give you something. Yeah. So let's do one by one. Let's do the ones in the front. Yeah. The one is the front here is actually covering it's covering the shoulder a little bit here, because there is this nice angle of, and just watch out here, because we have got a sharp hip line, very thin looking hip line. We don't want to do all that. We want her to look like a child, so we don't want that, belly curve or something like that. Yeah. So it's going to be slightly flat, and that's why I chose to do it this way. Yeah. So the hand is going to come over here. Let's look at it. It's in B. The hand is in B3. B and 3. Yes, and it's almost in the center of B3. So I'm going to place the thumb here first. Spacing for the thumb. Just remember, the hand is also should look like a little bit of a girl's hand. So we don't want it to look like a woman's hand. Be aware of that. We're just copying the way the superstructure is. We want to look at the way the superstructure is, but then the hands. So I'm just drawing those finger lines. I see that this is fair enough for me to work with. Yeah, and this hand has this elbow coming down. along, and you will see that the hand is folded here. So I am seeing that there is a proportion error when I do it. I can see that the arm length is could be increased. So I will place this slightly above in balance. So this is how I am also checking when I put this hand. So I'm going to move this slightly above so it fits perfectly in. Here. I want the hand to be somewhere here, then it comes to the proportion of this hand of this girl. Yeah. That's exactly where I'm planning. Right now I'm going to do this again. So let's look at the thumb. I'm going to use the thumb line here. And coming this way. The fingers coming here. Kind of in a blessing position. Is this fitting in? Kind of, yes. That's one hand there. Needs slight improvisation, but I think for now I will just try to work on the other hand and see where things could be balanced. Angle is fine. This angle can be shortened a bit here. Yes. Okay. Let's see how the other hand is going to come. The other hand comes out from here. And remember, it's not too thick. Should not be too thick. Yes, this angle fits in perfectly. We'll have to manage this a little bit more. We'll do that. Huh? Okay, so I'm just doing this. And I see that the hand bends. The finger that is visible is the thumb first. Okay, so here we have managed to do two of those hands. This hand needs slight bit of improvement. I think we need to bring it slightly upwards. I feel that there is a need. So I am going to keep this angle right, but then I will bring the hand slightly upward. Clearing up this section. And I'm going to go on doing this hand one more time. So when I bring it here, very close to her chest area, then there is this angle of the hand that we could bring. will be much more in alignment with the size of her body and face and such. Yes. So this hand is fine. So we have managed this. Okay, right now we are only left with 2 other hands to do. Just rubbing off any excess paint here. Unwanted lots here. So I have just 2 more hands to work with. Yes. All right, let's look at this one. And this one again has the angle of kind of angle that is bringing the hand towards us and folded in front like this. So we'll have to do that now. I'm just looking at the elbow angle, and if it is in parallel to with the one that we have made here. So keeping that in mind, that's a nice angle, and the palm is folded forward. Yeah, palm folded forward, really coming and touching the thigh. So I'm just leaving that space here. It looks like, yes, we have the overall spacing planned where exactly the hand has to come. Now we have the other hand to work with. The other hand, in this case, if you see, there is a difference. The line that we have drawn, C, we have managed to, we touch the border of column C when we touch the hands. But here, if you look at the size or overall size of the girl, it makes sense that we fit it inside this, and it comes close to but not touches the way it does in the picture or in the superstructure picture that we have used. Yes. So in the same way, this hand also goes in an angle upwards. And then we'll see that the bend in the hand, that is the thumb, the finger that is above, and there are 3 fingers that are kind of folded, bringing the wrist like this here, so that there is the space for the flower here, the lotus flower here. Right? So we have managed to draw the superstructure and also the detail, place that. And today's session, let's summarize what we have done. We're coming to the end of the session today. Oh, yay. So today's session was really about executing the plan that we made in the previous session. Okay, and the previous session's superstructure we just did the grids first. We did 2 types of grids that we had planned on, and the second grid we placed it in a manner that it is coming close to or in alignment with the spacing of where the face has to come in the first grid. So once we placed that, we started with the face of the girl. We tried to use that face. Keeping that face in mind, we restructured and we worked along and made the body also look in alignment, in tandem with that kind of face, and we managed to work on the superstructure. When we worked on the hands also, we had to adjust things accordingly so it looks like it's the hand of a little girl and not a woman. Yeah, so we have managed that now. So that completes our class 2. In class 3, we will be going over these. There's a lot of lines and rows, and it's a little bit messy here. We're now going to build on this and give some flat layering or coloring the layer 2 to just kind of complete this and make it look like one, at least for us to proceed to next steps. Yeah. So that will be blocking. Yeah, we are beginning with the blocking as well for this particular picture in the next session. Looking forward to having you around in the next class. I'm happy that you have experimented this so far. Take it slow and steady. Draw, line by line and section by section, grid by grid, and then take it slow and steady. And when you feel that you have kind of achieved, so you're not going to do everything in great detail right away. You're going to do that step by step. So one thing at a time, just have the overall picture. Let's see that it looks perfect like this, it looks kind of, overall achieved, key elements achieved here. And then we are done with this class and ready to move on to the next class. Yes. See you in the next class. Stay blessed, stay happy, stay fit. Let's meet up. Bye bye.